Good afternoon, everyone. Am I on? I am on. Okay, there we go. There we go. It has been good to be here in Adri. Man, my goodness, this church family is an awesome church family. Um, we have had a good time. We had good lunch. Can't complain about that. Um, my wife and I are really appreciative for hosting us. Thank you to your leadership, and thank you to the friends that we have made. My new aunt, Elaine. Um, yeah, it's good catching up with your pastor, Anthony. We go way back, CUC. In fact, I think we were the last graduating class for CUC before it turned Berman. Yeah, that's been a while. That's been a while. Um, Without further ado, we'll go ahead and jump into our conversation for this afternoon, and um, and we'll get things going from there. Let's have a quick word of prayer before we begin, and then we'll just take things from there. Gracious, loving Father, you are awesome. We invite you to come and do your thing. In your name I pray. Amen. All right. I don't know if I shared this a little bit, but I'll share it a little bit, and based on what I want us to do now. I have had the privilege of being a lifelong learner, and one of my greatest educational pieces has been in my grad studies in marriage and family counseling, marriage and family therapy. I took a particular interest in couples because predominantly when you're pastoring, you're doing more of relational stuff and counseling, and the family was of particular interest because every productivity at work, lack of, or almost every mental health concern, or childhood productivity, how children are doing at school, could be traced back to the family. And so, as I was seeing this over time, I said to myself, you know what, why did I engage more into this? Now, there are two really modalities that you can go to that heavily deal with working with couples in the counseling world. Gottman, if you have time, go find their resources. They have 40 years of researching couples. They would take a couple, put them in a house, monitor their conversation, take their pee samples to test the stress hormones. Weird. And then afterward, they would debrief. So these are one of them. But the one that I wanted to use, the piece there, I wanted to use this afternoon is really more of a conversational style if you're doing the counseling. And they have this concept in couple setting. By the way, this is not only for couples. We will use a principle that can be used in any relational setting. So don't walk out thinking, oh, he's talking about marriage. No, no. Stay with me a little bit longer. There is one that I want to use. So in this afternoon, I'm going to talk about those who are interested in getting in relationship, those who are dating seriously, those who are married, and those who are like, I wish somebody could come and say, hey, can I have your number? We're talking to that person too. Um, and so there is this dynamic that in any relational setting, there is a pursuer, there is a withdrawer. Whatever relationship you're in, you will find these dynamics. Pursuer and a withdrawer. What is a pursuer? Pursuer is the one who wants to resolve the conflict now. Like we can't talk about it tomorrow. Why can't we just deal with it now? It's that one person who always wants to get things done now. They're always pushing, and for some reason, things don't get done in a timely manner. They're always pursuing and going. And then there is the withdrawer. The withdrawer, the withdrawer wants his or her time. They are mainly, I don't want to talk about it now. Can we talk about it later? And the withdrawer gets overwhelmed. The pursuer is doing it out of love because, hey, we're having a problem. Hey, we have to go see so and so. Can we do it now? The withdrawer is like, yeah, we'll do it. Yeah, we'll do it. Yeah, we'll do it. So those are the two dynamics that you will get in relationships. So what I need us to do right now, it's conversational. We're talking. It's like Friday. So what I want us to do now is, if you know that you are a pursuer, you would know this because you have dated somebody, you are married, you were once married, or you're looking to get married. You would know whether you are a pursuer or you're a withdrawer. So what I need us to do is, I need all the pursuers to go on this side. The pursuers, I need them to go on this side. The withdrawers, I want you all to go on this side. So at the back there, you can join along too. So if you are at the back there, I will need you to come down. If you are a pursuer and a withdrawer, if you're at the back there, I'll need you to come down. These are the withdrawers and these are the pursuers. I'll need you to find your spot. Go ahead and find your spot, find your location. So what I need you to do is, I want you to get into a conversation. Of course, with social distancing, I want you to get into a conversation as withdrawers. I want you to come up with some things that you wish the pursuers would know about you. Pursuers, I want you to have a conversation and come up with some things that you wish the withdrawer would know about you. Is the instruction clear? Instruction is clear? All right. So at the end, I will ask a couple of you to tell us, what did you want, or what do you want the pursuers to know or the withdrawers to know? Okay? The instruction is clear, right? Any questions? Any questions? Okay. Let's talk. Let's take a couple of minutes and just talk. Let's talk, debrief between the groups. If I was a pursuer, I would want to know. think we're winding down our conversation, right? You talked to, you got some stuff, right? Okay, we got some stuff. Okay. All right. Where's my man, Joseph? Joseph, are you working something at the back there? Can you come and help me out with the mic here? Yeah. Is there two? Yeah, I can get the other person there. Kyle? Are they both working? I see somebody sitting next to you. Yeah, you want to help me out, Tyler? Yeah. Joseph, let me give you a trick, man. When you are passing around the mic, if you give the mic, the person will talk perpetually. But if you hold the mic for them, you are in control. Joseph, you are in control. Tyler, you are in control. Even if they try and reach for the mic, just pull it back. Just pull it back. Just let them talk. Because if you give them the mic, we're going to be here till 4 o'clock. And we don't want to be here till 4 o'clock, right? All right, okay. I say that loud so they could hear too. So that's your mic over there, Tyler. So these are the withdrawers. Now, by the way, this idea of withdrawer and pursuer is not a male or female, as you're observing. Sometimes there is a tendency when we have conversations as couples or individual in a relationship, well, he's always nagging or she's always nagging. It's not necessarily the case. Women tend to be labeled as naggers. I'm the nagger in our home. I'm a pursuer. Like, I'm always pursuing. Let's talk. Tyler, we'll start over this side. We'll get 1 or 2 people here. I guess they were in clusters. Let's start off with this cluster over here. What do you want the pursuers to know about you as a withdrawer? So you got a spokesperson there. Yeah, you got it, Tyler. Yeah, you got it.
I guess I was hoping it was going to be Tendai.
He's withdrawing already.
Because I'm a withdrawer, you see.
You withdraw from the question.
Well, I think we the three of us came to the conclusion that one reason we're withdrawers is it's never a good idea to make snap decisions. You have to think it through thoroughly. You know, you don't.
Oh, I was about to go there. Okay, all right. So you want to process the decision? Okay.
And our motto is just hurry up and wait. That's what we like to know the pursuer.
Hurry up and wait.
The pursuers to know. Hurry up and wait.
Hurry up and wait. Okay. All right, so you want to process things, and certain things need to be thought through. Okay, all right. Joseph, you know the drill. Don't give the mic. Start with Camilla right here. She's a spokesperson right here? Okay. All right, so just one of them is going to be a spokesperson there. She is, okay.
We concluded that it's best you get married to a pursuer. And also the withdrawers. Why save the issue or whatever it is for a next day to open up your emotions again? Why not deal with it? It must be so painful being a withdrawer. Because you open up the emotions today and then you save it again for tomorrow. Deal with it. Like tomorrow is a brand new day.
Just get it over with.
Yes, tomorrow's a brand new day.
Okay, all right. So if I'm getting it correctly, as a pursuer, you want the withdrawers to know that this thing needs to be done now. Dealing with it again tomorrow means that you're opening yourself again, the wound and all that stuff.
Brand new day.
Okay. I get why you want to take your time, because it's just rushing, right? Okay. Let's go over here. Tyler, you know the drill, man. Don't give the mic.
It seemed like there was a lot of discussion in this area right here. I think you should have somebody.
You want to start over there? Okay. I don't know who's the spokesperson here. Somebody there. Tyler, man. Tyler, if you do that, we're going to stay here the whole day.
So I would want them to know that the Gottmans talk about flooding. And there's a physiological response when you're in the heat of an emotion that actually is fight or flight. So you need at least 30 minutes when your heartbeat goes up above 100 beats per minute, you actually are not able to process. It's like 2-3-year-olds fighting back and forth because emotionally you're shut down. So you cannot resolve the issue in the heat when the emotions are high. So we'd ask you to consider flooding. At least 30 minutes would be the minimum, and go for a walk. But some of our team here need at least 1 to 2 days to allow things, to allow the emotions to settle and to relax a little bit and be a little patient. So it depends if if it's a conflict or if it's pursual in another way. So pursual, don't give up on the pursual too easy. Some pursuers just kind of, if they don't get their way in 5 minutes, they're okay, we're done. So keep pursuing.
Okay, all right. So what I'm getting is that when the pursuer is coming, okay, you might want to split up. So do this. Go on the other end with the mic and go on the other end with the mic. Am I right? Okay. All right. So if I'm getting it correctly, when the issue is happening, you are flooded. And them coming in and saying, let's do it now, you're overwhelmed. It's like, can you just give me a break? It's not that you don't want, but you just flooded. And somebody say here 1 to 2 days, they want to process it. Okay, all right, okay. So you want to cool down, and then, hold on. There you go. All right, so being flooded, you need time to be able to cool down because it's overwhelming. To be able to come up with solutions, then you end up just saying yes, and you don't even mean yes. Okay. This row over here. Hold on. Right here.
Well, the talk we had is that life is short, so why put off till later what you should be dealt with now? And this is my personal comment. It's unhealthy to leave me with my heart rate high for 2 days. And what's more, I have to, not to betray my group, I secretly wish I was more like them over there. No, my heart rate gets too high.
I'll come around again. I just want to make sure I get.
I try.
Okay, so why keep you in this suspense mode? It's causing you anxiety.
I want to deal with things. I want them to be perfect. However, I arrange for them to be perfect.
Right now. Okay. So there's an emotional suspense that's happening here. Where's Tyler? Tyler, we're moving on. Let's start over there. They're withdrawing. Okay, all right, we'll come over here. What do you want the pursuers to know?
In addition to what the Cook clan has already said, the main thing is patience. We require patience, just like what has been said. But the other thing is, we see that the pursuers kind of think that our wanting to breathe is an indication of lack of interest in the relationship. And it is not. And it's not an excuse. And we are not trying to walk away from the situation. We just need time to dissect what's happening. We get to the bottom of it, and then we can come up with the way. Because there's no point in saying, I'm sorry, and nothing comes after I'm sorry. I need to be able to say, I am sorry for. And it takes time for me to get to the bottom of that.
But
1 to 2 days. Okay. You all the crew. It's your crew. Don't give him the mic.
it's not necessarily that we want to dissect you. We also want to dissect ourselves.
Internal processing.
I want to dissect myself. It's not so much you. I want to. Am I wrong?
Yes.
Am I overreacting? Like that.
How did I make
Is,
Yeah.
is that considered unhealthy if we are wanting to dissect within ourselves, or is it healthy? I want to know because you know it causes these same things that you're saying. It causes conflicts. You know what I'm saying? And what's the resolution? By putting a Band-Aid on it?
We'll hopefully we'll get to that. We have a slot of an hour, so hopefully we'll get to that. So it's not that you're not interested in the relationship. You 100% in. You would just need to process it. Now the pursuer is thinking you're not interested in me. It's the issue becomes non-existent. You become the issue. So you don't want me, and you're like, no, that's what I'm getting. Okay. Man, the pursuers, they're pursuing the mic. They're pursuing the mic. Joseph, go to the last there. Tyler. When you hold the mic, when you come around here, count to 30 in your head. If they are not done by 30, start moving back slowly. Is your mom and dad here? Okay. For mom, just count to 35, so she'll say you're a good boy. Okay, so come around this way. You just count to 35 in your head. And we'll just take these 3 comments and then we'll just move on. But I want to hear let's hear what the pursuers want. Exactly, don't touch the mic. We'll just say it's COVID.
Take it off and say it.
So in my opinion, my issue becomes the fact that there is no guaranteed time frame for when you decide to respond. So I should wait till eternity until you make up your mind. And at times, people don't come back to you, and then I become the nagger. I keep on asking the same thing, and then we fight again. So let's talk about it now. We can agree to disagree, that's fine, but don't make me wait till eternity. That's just my take.
Okay, all right, okay. So if I'm getting it correctly, from a pursuer, you want them to know that whatever time frame, if it's 30 minutes, if it's a day, if it's 2 days, it feels like eternity. It is, not it feels like, it is eternity. Okay. And so which means while there is that suspense, I would imagine things are not getting done because there's that thing that's lingering. Okay. All right. Tyler, count to 35 in your head.
I think she alluded
No,
to it
mommy,
because
don't touch the mic.
I think she alluded to it. I'm saying if something is brewing, well, personally, it affects my mood. Personally, if something is brewing. And I can't allow you 2 days to download and process because my extracurricular activities is being affected, you know?
Okay, so 2 days is rather too long to process.
2 days is too long for you to stay away from extracurricular activities. You're gonna have issues.
Right, okay. So while we're waiting the 2 days, the collaboration in parenting is not happening, the sexual activity is affected, the chores at work are affected, a whole lot of things are being affected there. Okay. You counted to 35, right? Okay. All right, go ahead, Tyler.
After 54 years of marriage,
You should know.
I like to put some balance in this. I think that has a lot to do also with personalities. Like we went to a seminar many years ago, Dr. Chalmers, and he was talking about choleric, phlegmatic, and all that stuff, you know. I think my wife and I have the most challenging personalities that you ever can think. I was a more melancholy choleric. My wife, Sylvia, is a phlegmatic.
Huh.
So that belongs to that group there. you know. But then after 54 years, and I had a hard time being not a hard time being a pursuer, but a hard time being patient with her kind of personality of being a follower. And so after many years and many experiences of challenges that we have, I have come to realize as a pursuer, you know, that, you know, you're a pursuer, but you have to sort of understand the one that you have married with for 54 years. So there's a sort of understanding. I'm not saying that, okay, I'll give you 2 days and think about it. That's not. I just have to feel the way when we come to making a decision. I have to understand she is not going to make a decision right away. But she may make a decision the time that you not even expect it. You know, so these are the challenges, and these are the positive things in life after 54 years. You know, it's an exciting thing actually. You know, it's like hope, the hope of the coming of the Lord. It's a hope that you somehow there's going to be an agreement, or sometimes you have to agree to disagree and go on with life. And that's what I'm sort of, this is my mantra nowadays, you know.
All right.
Because, yeah.
that's okay. All right, okay. I think we covered all the hands that we had. Thank you, Tyler and Joseph. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much. I guess you can put back the mics. I did that short little exercise just for us to see and to understand how different we are. And sometimes, even after we've been married for 5 years, 10 years, we still haven't figured each other out. There is this uniqueness that God has given to each and every one of us. And if we don't see that and understand that, we'll continually be in conflict. And that conflict spills over to many other areas of our relationship in our life. Here's the principle. I'm going to give you the principle for today. We had our principle for yesterday. Spirituality. Who remember the principle that we had for yesterday? All right, so spirituality that does not incorporate emotions, meaning anger, joy, pain. If you don't incorporate those things in spirituality, we call it emotional maturity. You set yourself up for failure as an individual, meaning how you parent, how you relate to other people, your children and everything as a young person or an adult, how you see other people. We tend to want to correct behavior and not pay attention to the emotion behind the behavior. And that doesn't really work out well because the emotion can tell you a lot. That was the principle for yesterday. Who remembers the principle for this morning? The grace of God restores and builds that which has been broken. So grace is a quintessential ingredient in relationships to be able to restore. At that moment when you are pursuing and they don't seem to be like they're listening and they want 2, 3 days, 4 days, who knows how long withdrawals want, and you want to talk about it now, that grace can be able to restore and to build that which is broken. That's the second principle that we figured out today. Our principle for this evening is couples that know how to recommit in every life transition strengthen their relationship bond. We'll unpack that a little bit more. I'm going to take you to a passage of scripture that we're familiar with, and I want to use certain words in there. We will take these words, we will infuse them, we will buttress them to that pursuer, withdrawer. We will connect them with that idea of recommit. And I'll tell you what recommit is in a little bit, and I'll pack that a little bit more. So we're going to Ephesians chapter 5, a familiar Bible text. Ephesians chapter 5. We're going to read verse 25, and we're going to read verse 33. Verse 25 introduces us to something. Verse 33 puts it plain and expounds a little bit more on it. If you want to get more, Go to the whole passage and read a little bit more. If you found the passage, say, I found it. If you're looking, say, wait. If you're just looking at me, you're not looking at your Bible, don't look at me, just look down and say, because we're reading from the Bible. The Bible says, okay, somebody's looking down. That's good. Okay. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 25 is where I want to be. 25. It says, husbands, love your wives, just as Christ also loved the church and gave himself up for her. Verse 33, it says, nevertheless, each individual among you also is to love his own wife even as himself. We got that first part from verse 25. Now, the latter part of verse 33 says, wife must see to it that she respects her husband. There's two words there. There's two words that I want you to pay attention to. The word love and respect. Love and respect. When you're reading them superficially, you may be tempted to use those words in your own cultural context, talking about what respect is or what love is. And I want to disabuse you of that notion that this is not about your culture. This is in the biblical culture. Respect means something totally different, as Paul was teaching it. But I want to use those two words, love and respect. What is the responsibility of the man to the woman? To love. What is the responsibility of the woman to the man? To respect, to respect, to respect. Okay, all right. I want you to park that at the back of your mind. It'll continue to build up and unpack as we go along. Recommit. Let's talk about that idea of recommitting. Every relationship needs recommitment in varying or multiple stages of the relationship's existence. If you're dating, if you're married, it needs recommitment in those multiple stages. If you're a young person, you need to recommit to your parents as well. Maybe let me ask this question. In a relationship or as a couple, what are the milestones that a couple goes through? Whatever that word milestones to you, what it means, just shout it out. What milestones do you go through? As a married couple or couple? Children, okay. What else? Anniversaries, okay. Buying a new home, okay. What else? Parents moving in. My goodness, parents moving in with you. Okay. Kids moving in, okay. Kids not moving out, okay, because we have blended families too. They are families, so kids moving in, they're out, now they're moving in. What else? What other milestones? Birth of a child? Death of a child, okay. Parenting, okay. All right. Now that's another multiple layered thing, because you parent when they come in as a baby, when they go to preschool, kinder, grade 7, high school, university, when they're broke and don't want to pay rent and they come back. So those are all multiple stages that exist in a relationship. And more often when we talk about recommitment, we talk about recommitment on anniversaries. Some people only recommitted after their 10th anniversary. Some people only commit after their 5th anniversary. But I want us to bring us back to this idea of recommitting in every life stage. It can be problematic. I'm going to throw in some things that you perhaps maybe have not considered. Transitioning from another job to another job is a life transition. Moving to a different city is a life transition. Moving to a new church family is a life transitioning. Being an elder in the church is a life transitioning. It means that Fridays are no longer fully open. They change, right? The meetings for the elders, they change. Now you got to be present for those meetings. It also means that you don't get to sit with your family always, all the time. That's a life transition. So there are multiple life transitions that as a couple you can go through. In a space of a year, you can have multiple life transitions. And if you don't pay attention to these things, while the pursuing and the withdrawing is happening, guess what? It heightens that tension. Let's just say there is a new transition job, or you move to a new city. Camille, that's your husband over there, right? Oh my goodness, I just married you.
You're the wife crying out.
Okay, I need a husband over this side. Your wife is over here. Okay, let's just say you moved to a new city, and after you have moved to a new city, that's a life transition, and you're a pursuer, and you're a withdrawer. She's already processing the move. She's already processing now before you even move. She's already processing the move. Guess what? When you come with a decision to be made, let's just say maybe it's to put grass. You bought a new house outside, put some sod. And she's thinking about the whole idea of leaving friends. Maybe you lived in a city where mom and dad were there, they could help babysit. Now they're no longer babysitting. And he's coming in, he's talking about sod. Can you imagine sod? And he wants you to make a decision right now, and you have big things in your mind. Do you notice how it compounds things in your relationship? It gets things a little bit crazy in there. So as we're talking about this idea of recommitting, you have to be intentional in talking about these things, having the conversation and checking in with where the other person is. And really how you recommit, it's those two biblical words, love, respect. Which means if there is a life transition, you got to love them differently. You can't love her how you did 15 years ago. If you're still doing that, my brother, she has had multiple life transitions. You can't love her the way you did 2 years ago, and you are in year number 23 in your marriage, or in year number 4 in your relationship. Something is off because that person is changing in age, in experiences. And the way you do that recommitment, it is in those two biblical words, love and respect. Love and I can't expect that respect the same way we did with my wife on year number 1 when we got married, when we were just in CUC, and in year number 9 when we have 2 toddlers. It's just not going to work that way. As a withdrawer, my wife is thinking of other things. She's processing other things. So it's putting strain on the relationship. Now, transitions, or these transitions in relationships, are different for everybody. They mean different things. Some are fortunate to have grandparents with them as they are raising their children, which means what? You have help. Some don't have that privilege to be able to have that help. So this idea of recommitment, that's the principle that we're going to be unpacking a little bit. And I'm almost done. What time are we done here? We started at what? 2:30? You got 15 minutes, right? 2:30. Okay, cool. All right. We keep into an hour. I want to make sure. Blessed are the brief, for they shall be invited again. All right. So that's the principle. Couples that know how to recommit in every life transition strengthen their relationship bond. It's going to be difficult for us to unpack everything here. So I'm giving you this principle so that you can go ahead and apply them however you want to apply them in your relationship. But a couple of things I want to bring to your attention as you are doing this withdrawing and pursuing, as you are doing this love and respect, you want to pay attention to drift. I hate this word compromise in relationships. This is just a personal thing. Relationships should not have compromise. Because if we're compromising, can I get a couple here? Your wife is over here. Can you do me a favor? Let's just come over. Just stand over here. I just want to do something. I didn't think of this. Hopefully it's going to work. Just stand right here. Close. You are married. Stand close. close. So let's just say this couple has issue number one, and she agrees, she does not agree, and he decides to say, nah, whatever. Take one step to the left. They've compromised. Ah, okay, go ahead. Another issue comes up again, parenting. I don't know what the issue is. She says, you know, fine, if that's what you want, take another step. This is what compromise does. You're drifting. You're drifting. You're drifting. And by the time you are here, a life transition happens. And she tries to turn around to reach. He's too far. And she feels all alone. And on his side, he's saying she doesn't connect. Because you have been drifting and drifting and drifting. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And that's why it's important for you to be able to recommit after every life transition, identify what your life transitions are, and be able to talk about these things. And as you go through these life transitions, and walls tend to get built up. The couple is there. Walls get built up because they don't feel close enough. The other person feels judged because she didn't decide the same way that he did with regards to children. So there's a wall that comes up. So it causes the relationship to drift. And you also factor in old wounds that come into that. Now think about it. Let's just say they got married when they were 21 and 22. She brought in 21 years of stuff. Her family's normal is not his family's normal. So two people are bringing in their normal. And guess what? She's saying this is normal. What do you mean you want to do that? That's not normal. So two people are bringing in their normal. And if he does anything that reminds him of her past, it becomes a wound. It's a trigger. They drift. So when the life transition comes, guess what? They're going further and further and further. So a couple of things. Some tools that you may want to use. I'll give you these tools to use. I've painted the picture of what life transitions are. I've given you the principles that you need to recommit. I've given you an idea of what it looks like to be able to, how you couples actually drift apart. I had a couple come in one day, and they were talking about that in our downtime, I spend most of my time on my iPad, and my wife spends most of her time watching TV, and that was actually normal for them. And they were coming in saying, hey, we're struggling to connect and to be a couple again. And they were not realizing what they were doing. And this had happened over multiple things that have happened. In their particular case, it was illness. First, the husband was the one who was ill, went on disability, and then it followed that the wife was ill, went on disability. And these are significant life transitions that changed the dynamics of their relationship. And before you realize it, they were now drifting apart. So, how do you deal with drift and this word, compromise? When an issue is being presented or an issue is being addressed in the context of a life transition, everyone has a backstory. Everyone has a position on why they're choosing for that to be happening. Give you an example. You have a couple that have little kids, and the father says, well, I want my kids to go to Adventist education. And the other person says, well, I want my kids to go to public school. It's right here. It's a charter school, not a public school, another private charter school. And because they have so much programming and all that stuff that's happening. Now, they begin to argue and fight, and eventually one compromises. And what the other person does not know is that when the other person was growing up, their sister was abused in a public school. So anything to do with the public school or anything that has to do with another school or institution, it is a trigger. So the other person may not get that beautiful Adventist education or because they have programming on the other side. The other person is thinking, I just can't let my kids go there because they're being triggered because of their past. That's a backstory. So when you come to a position whereby there's a life transition or anything that you're talking about, try and understand the other person's backstory. What does it mean for you? Why are you taking this position? And sometimes your heart would melt just knowing that, I didn't know that. You know what? Let's do it that way. You didn't compromise. In that particular case, you came a little bit closer. Does that make sense? Yeah. That makes sense? Okay. Every relationship or anything has a backstory. So that's one. Understand the backstory when you're dealing with drift. The other one is stay curious. Stay curious. People change over time. I've been married to my wife close to 10 years now. 10 years next year. And I think it was a month ago, I discovered that, Elder, why are you pulling out a pen? Elder's pulling out a I'm about to expose myself here. You ready to go? I just discovered that my wife loved to read novels. She used to do that just while we were dating. Once we got married, she didn't read novels as much, but I discovered that she loves to read novels just by simply having a conversation and asking questions and talking. I did not know that about her. That was her downtime. And this is almost like 10 years in a few months. Now imagine the big stuff in a relationship that you could learn. Stay curious. People change. I heard of a story of a person who authorized a company to buy flowers for her wife, same kind of flowers every year, only to discover 4 years later that the wife has allergies to those flowers. You have to stay curious. Keep asking the questions. So what is life like? What does it mean for you? Where are you now? What are your hopes and dreams? What are your fears? You got to stay curious. Now withdraw. When a pursuer is coming with that question, they are genuinely wanting to connect. You can tell them, okay, I have to go cut the grass, or I have to do the laundry. Can we come back and talk about it? Now, pursuer, they just gave you a time frame. It's not 1 to 2 days. Even if they say 1 to 2 days, it's all good. No. See, the pursuers. Yeah. You have to stay curious. I'm just curious. What does staying curious look like for you, Lulu? What does staying curious look like you, Lulu, the pursuer? Asking the questions every day. Tendai. And getting the answers to the questions. Tendai, I'm finding the next question from the answer every day. Okay. Elder, what does curiosity look like as a withdrawer? she's saying, I'm curious every day, looking for answers and finding the next question. What does it look like for you on the flip side as a withdrawer? So he's talking further down the line. You are saying every day. So now you understand the dynamics of how different we are. It doesn't necessarily mean that we can't or anyone is a bad person. It's just the personalities that are in there. So while you are staying curious, you still have to be patient with others. You still have to love and respect each other. So that's one thing to pay attention to. Don't stop talking. You see, when trust and vulnerability increase, the relationship quality also increases. And that's something that's significant. Because when you stay curious, you're being vulnerable. And when you're vulnerable, trust increases, which means the relationship quality also increases. So when the life transitions begin to happen in your relationship, it changes the dynamics altogether. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Okay, we are at 3:28. We have 2 minutes. I have one last thing. I just went through fast in some of these things. I gave you the principle, and I'm hoping you can apply it in so many other ways. And I'm applying the principle right now. It may not be for your particular situation, but I hope you're following along. The last one is pursuers and withdrawers. Sometimes we miss bids for connections simply by turning towards each other. He comes home and he wants to talk now about something that happened at work. I don't know what she's doing, but she's doing something. She wants to get it done then. And often, what you may observe is that while he may be coming and say, hey, I want to tell you about that thing, she may say, yeah, okay, I'll get back to you, because she needs to finish off putting the laundry in there. That was a bid for connection. And that was an opportunity that was lost to be able to connect the withdrawer and the pursuer. It comes in small little things. He's asking a question, you're holding your phone and you're texting and everything and all that stuff, and it's going on. There's a bid for connection that says, hey, can we do this? Yeah, okay, just hold on. That was a bid for connection. You just missed an opportunity. Sometimes just pausing and saying, hey, so what were you saying? And connecting. And then going back to your text message. Small things offer, and those things, as they continue to increase, they build the relationship. If those things happen over and over and over, the drift. And by the time the life transition comes around, the other person is trying to reach out. The other person is too far. It doesn't necessarily mean that the other person doesn't love them. No, it doesn't mean that. It just means that the gap has increased over time as the couple has been changing and they were not really paying attention to those changes that were happening. And it's sometimes when we hear couples that have been married for 40 years and one day some person comes and says, you know what, I want a divorce. And we're sitting here thinking, 30 years, 54 years? They want a divorce? And when you really begin to ask the question, like, I don't know who it is. I don't love him. The drift. The drift, the bids for connections. When somebody bids for a connection, they're taking out and pouring out and hanging out their most vulnerable piece. And it hangs in the air because somebody is busy on all that, and it just falls to the ground, and they feel exposed. Next time, it's a wound. They build up a wall. And it becomes difficult to be able to connect the next time. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? We are at 3:32. We are 2 minutes over. This is my last statement for today. The difference between happy couples and unhappy couples is that happy couples have learned how to make repairs to their relationship conflict faster and easier so that they can get back to enjoying life together.